Many of us know Zee for his elegant touch on coin work. If you don't, then you've got to look it up. His attention to detail and dedication to refining moves is what sets him apart. What many do not know, however, is how Zee handles a deck of cards with the same standard of elegance. Smooth Zee is everything that you probably already know, but definitely need to get. Why? This project features Zee's take on classic card moves with subtleties and details that make a world of difference. It is no exaggeration that Zee shattered our reality with all the common card moves we already know. It's everything you can adapt right away and take what you do with cards to a whole new level. As they say, the devil is in the details. So are you ready to take the next step? Get it now worldwide.
Hey, yo.
Hey guys, this is Zee and thank you for getting this project. If you have been following my projects, then you should have noticed most things I put out are not 100% mine. They are usually my take on classic moves. In this project, I'm going to share my take on classic moves, and I'm also going to share other utility moves and also a few effects. At the end, I'm also going to share my thought process and how I make classic moves more modern and suits my style. So sit on the edge of your chair and get intense and enjoy. Thank you. This is my take on cover pass, and for explanation purposes, I'm gonna use a borderless deck. But when you're actually performing, it's better to use a border deck because you don't wanna get a leak like this. Let's get into it. My way of doing cover pass is kind of different from traditional one. In traditional one, you usually go from here to there and then do cover pass, and that results this action. They put the card back, and you stay here for a few seconds and you're done. And I wanted to eliminate that weird pause, and I also wanted to keep moving my hands. So I made it smoother by eliminating this few extra seconds of doing this. The way I do it is first you have to start from dribble, and when you're dribbling, you have to hold the deck like this and dribble from here, and your thumb actually needs to be around here. So your thumb is reaching out the deck like this. So you start dribbling and they pick a card. I'll turn it face up so you can see it. And when I dribble rest of the deck back onto the top of this one, I insert my middle finger and little finger here, and I dribble everything but one card, so it looks like this. And I'll do it from here, so dribble it, one card, and when this card is going down, your left hand is extending, so this card is exposed, and I put this single card on top of this bottom half. And then I use my right hand to grab whole bottom packet, isolating this middle packet, and I just lift. When I'm lifting, When I'm lifting the deck, so from here to here, make sure the left-hand thumb is running like this. So it mimics the squaring action. So from here, like this. When I'm lifting the deck, finger positions are like this, but as soon as I start to grab the bottom packet, my little finger extends, and when I start to lift, my middle finger extends. So these three fingers can catch this packet. So I lift it, and my thumb is running here, and I just square it up like this. And important thing to notice is when I'm squaring up the deck, my thumb is covering whole sideways, so it doesn't have that appearing dag effect. From here, run and cover the whole side, and then square everything up. Another thing is I'm using my middle finger, ring finger, and little finger to cover the front, so it doesn't look like the deck is just appearing out of nowhere. When you're doing this cover pass, the angle is almost directly from here to your spectator's eyes. So it's better to almost show them like this, but a little upper. So it's not completely like this, it's more like this. So like that. Let me show it to you. This one is ego control. This move allows you to control a single card to anywhere on top portion of the deck. It is actually pretty hard to do if you're just beginner, but every time you do it, you'll feel that satisfaction kicking in, so let's get down to it. This is ego control. So first, you have to get the selected card to the top. Just show it to them like this. The easier way of getting ready is pushing two cards and then hold a break under two cards, but take the top card so you get a break under. But the better way, cooler way to do it is just show them the card while showing, just pinky count one card and turn it over and hold a break. And riffle the deck until they say stop. Wherever they say stop, just stop there and insert your middle finger into the gap and use this part of your thumb to maintain the break over here. So insert it, hold a break, and lift it up like this. And then when you're coming down, put your pinky in to hold a pinky break on that, like this. But you're pretending to hold a whole packet. Peel off one card, and while you're peeling off, your pinky is gonna jog one card, and your right hand goes up and comes back. And when it's coming back, just use ambitious riser to push it out and flush the top card like this. So it looks like the card is in the middle, but it's actually second from top. Let me do it face up so you can see what's happening. So get a 2-card break, middle finger insert, use your thumb to hold a break, and insert your pinky into that middle and peel the selected card and do a rise thing, ambitious riser. And their card is second to the top. But you could actually just control it to anywhere. Like you could pinky count like 10 cards and just put it tens to the top. It doesn't really matter, but it's a pretty cool utility move. When you're doing this control, your right hand should hold the deck like this, hold that 2 cards. So it looks like you're holding a whole packet. And the angles should be a little bit toward your right. So when you go like this, they don't see the thickness under. All they see is just this side, and they assume there's only half the packet underneath their selected card. I hope you guys like it, and thank you. This one is called Logic Shuffle because it's illogical, but it's kind of logical at the same time. I always wanted to have a triumph that allows me to shuffle like this. So I came up with this move. Let's get down to it. This one is Logic Shuffle. Before we begin, turn the bottom card face up and rest of them face down. And your left hand position is gonna look like something like this. And from here, your right hand is going to riffle off about half the deck, and your left hand is going to hold it like this. So from here, getting ready for a riffle shuffle. And your right hand is providing cover for the turn. So right hand packet is blocking the view, and when the hand is done turning, it comes in to the view again. And your right hand turns the deck around like this. So it looks like you're shuffling the deck face up and down. While you're shuffling, you don't want them to see this flash. So you're going to use your thumb to riffle off this corner of the deck. So it minimizes the flash over there. And your right hand is going to riffle from here, so it provides maximum cover, but that is not enough. So your right hand is actually going to be more forward than your left hand, like this, and angle it like this, and then start to shuffle like that. So let's actually shuffle the deck. When you're done shuffling, it's gonna look like this, but you have to flush it. And when you're doing the bridge, make sure this side of the deck is actually facing directly to your spectator's eyes, so they don't see any flash over there. For the angles for this one, just make sure your spectator is standing to your right. Basically, it's this angle. This corner to your spectator's side. After you're shuffling the deck, there should be a 1 card near here facing down. If you're using border deck, you could just literally just spread it and it will look like it's unshuffled. And later I'm gonna share a routine called Uncle Triumph, and this face down card is actually going to be the selection. So you could do a triumph like this. This one is called Fat Shuffle because anyways, this is basically a zero shuffle done in the hands. I always wanted to do zero shuffle, but I rarely had tables around me, so I decided to make one. So let's learn it. This is called Fat Shuffle. Basically what it is a in the hand zero shuffle that looks like Pharaoh shuffle. So what you do here is take a little less than half of the deck and turn it around and start to Pharaoh it halfway, and make sure your spectator sees cards are weaving. And at this point you're gonna raise your hand like this. At the same time you're gonna pull the top card with your index finger like this, and then you're gonna unweave it and shove everything under the top card, and your left hand is gonna grip the deck like this. Make sure index finger is pressing the top card so it looks like cards are actually pharaohed, but it's actually in this position. What you do from here is push this packet upwards while using your index finger and little finger to clip the top card, and your index finger is actually pulling this packet back. So it turns into something like this. This card is gonna be the cover card, and your spectator should be standing a little bit to your right. Otherwise you're gonna flash this whole thing. And from here, do a really cruel anti-pharaoh. And then put the top card down and just square it up. Then you're done. From here, you could do whatever you want. And I'm going to try it without turning the deck face up. So shove it halfway in, pull down the top card, and put everything under that card, and clip the top card with your index and little finger. From here, do a anti-pharaoh. Now you have done a zero shuffle in your hands. If you don't know how to do an anti-pharaoh, just do a really shitty spring. The point is to get the cards really messy in your hands so you can square it, just to add the more flavor to this slide. This one is called Double Rift. It's spelled with R, not L. I came out with this move when I was 16. I was going through a phase. I wanted to be a parlor magician, and I wanted to show a card, dramatically reveal it like this, but a double. So I made up a double that looks like this, and it's a double rift. Yeah, it's a double rift. Let's get down to it. This one is double rift. To begin, hold a break under two cards and push this card, push this double out like this. And your right hand is actually grabbing the card, grabbing the double like this, like a claw. Your middle finger is around the middle of the card, and rest of them is just sitting there comfortably. So you're basically squeezing the card so it doesn't split from here. And from here, your index finger comes around and your wrist turns inwards as your thumb lets go of the card. So you're clipping the card like this. It's actually pretty necky. You have to do it a few times to get the feeling of it. So your index finger is gradually applying more pressure as your ring finger and thumb lets go and your wrist is turning inwards. So from here, like this, so the card doesn't split. So from here, your thumb is actually going around the double, but actually not touching the card, and pinch it and turn your wrist outwards. And from here, you're letting go of your middle finger softly so it doesn't split the double. Let me do it one more time. From here, index finger gradually applying more pressure as your wrist turns inward, and your thumb goes around, and gradually pinch the double as you turn your wrist outwards. And when you're here, just let go of your middle finger slowly, and you're done. Sometimes when you do this move, the card splits while you're turning. It's because the pressure, but you're actually using your middle finger and ring finger to square it up while it's turning. So from here, when you're letting go of your middle finger, the double is actually sliding on your middle finger, so it squares up a little. Usually the split is taken care of, but sometimes it still has a little split like this. So you're using your ring finger to push it flush, like this. This one is my take on classic trick that you should have performed before. It's called quick arse. This is my take on an ace trick that you should be familiar with. You'll know what it is when you see it. And I didn't like the flow of it, so I changed up a little so it's more flowy and direct. And let's get down to it. This is quick arse. You can start from a shuffle deck, it doesn't matter. First of all, find 4 aces while your spectator is watching, it doesn't matter. Just take them out. You have to make sure when you take these aces out, two matching colors are together. So in this case, you're gonna take card out like this, and then like this. And while you're showing to your spectators, you could just rearrange the order. So from here, do a one-handed deck flip, or you could just flip the deck wherever you want, and get a break under top card using your thumb, like this, single card. And when you have to turn these aces face down, like this. And when you're taking the aces with your right hand, you're going to add this extra card under the aces. Put the deck away. Now you have 5 cards in your hand. Now you're going to pull down 2 cards with your little finger and do a double lift and turn this card to show them 2 red cards. And turn it face down, and give them these 2 cards, which are black cards. I'll just leave them here. Now you have 2 red aces and an extra card here. You're going to take top card and wave it over those 2 cards they have and put it under the deck and turn it around and show you have 2 red cards. The extra card is hidden behind this ace. So one more time, like this, put it under, turn it around, and your left hand just takes 1 card, like this. and let them turn around their card to see aces have changed their places. If you don't know how to do a double Gordon style, basically what you're doing is using your ring finger and your thumb to take the card, and you're basically turning it like this. Your thumb goes around, and this part of your hand is actually keeping the deck, keeping the double square, and just run it like this. This one is called Marloni Change, and I thought it was mine, but it was Marlo's. Everything is at Marlo's, you know. Once upon a time, I heard a legend saying a dude named Tony Chang, he wanted to do an effect that looks like hold up a blank card, goes like this, name any card, and boom, it's your card. So I wanted to replicate that effect, and I came up with this change. Let's learn it. This one is called Marloni Change. First, you have to do double rift from here, like this. And your middle finger is actually come over like this. And you're going to turn your wrist inwards. So when this side of the card is facing forwards, you're going to start to split this double. And your index finger comes over and push it out like this. And your thumb comes over and turn it like this. And now your middle finger goes up like this, and index finger comes back, and turn this card around. To clean up, your right hand comes back and put this card over here, and your thumb is taking it back and like this. Let me show that one more time. Do a double rift from here. Your middle finger comes around and you turn your wrist inwards and split the card, and your index finger push this card outwards and your thumb comes back. At this point, this card is covered by your fingers, and this extending part is also covered by this card. And from here, your middle finger goes around like this. Be sure to don't go around like this because you're gonna flash this part. So keep your windows closed, come around, and your index finger comes around and extend this card and then comes back like this. For the cleanup, just insert it here and pull with your thumb, and your index finger curls like this. This one is called Uncle Triumph because when I came out with that logic shuffle thing, I happened to be texting Uncle Tony, so I just named it Uncle Triumph. And it's actually a pretty sexy, neat triumph, so let's get down to it. This one is called Uncle Triumph. To begin, make your spectator choose a card and use whatever method to control it to the bottom. I personally use comb. Control it to the bottom. And find the timing to use half pass to turn it around. So their selection is the only face-up card in this face-down cards. And from here, use logic shuffle. To shuffle the deck. And cut it once. And make your magic gesture. Now, all the cards are face up except one card, which is their selection. And remember, don't actually use borderless decks when you're performing because you're gonna flash. This one is Fat Triumph because it uses Fast Shuffle. This is Fat Triumph. Begin with your spectator choosing a card, and in this case 4 of diamonds, and curl it to the bottom. And from here, hold a break under the bottom card and split about a little more than half and swing cut it. And from here, you're gonna drop this 4 of diamond on top. So your 4 of diamond is in your left hand packet. And your right hand is gonna turn the packet around like this. And you're going to do Fat Triumph, which is using Fat Shuffle from here. And then pull the top card down, shove everything in, and shuffle it. Now you're in this position. Their selection is on top. From here, you're gonna take a little from top and show them like this. And your left hand is gonna break like this. So the breaking point is still in the middle like this. So basically showing them like this. And when you're coming back, drop this drop this half onto your right hand and come back and turn this packet face down. Now do your magical gesture. Their card is the only face-up card in the deck. In terms of splitting point, when you use a deck for a while, if you turn them face up and down like this, you see this natural break. So you could just drop it like this and you'll be ready to go. This one is called Le Transpo because I love this transpo and it is my go-to trick when someone asks me to do something and I feel like doing something easy. So let's get down to it. This is Le Transpo. You could do it from a shuffled pack, but it's ideal to have Ace of Spades near the middle of the deck. I personally use Ace of Spades, but you could use any card. So in the performance, I say I'm gonna find a card, my card, and while I'm looking through, I'm not showing the face of the deck to my spectator. And as soon as I find Ace of Spades, I'm gonna pull it back so it makes a double, and then I show them this ace. After showing them this ace, I turn it around and use push over double method to push two cards to your right like this. And then I'm gonna call this ace and out jog it and control the ace to the bottom like this. But they think this is the Ace of Spades. I'm gonna clip it with my ring finger and little finger like this. And I'm actually flashing the side of the card, casually flashing it to my spectator, but make sure they never see the face of the card. From here, spread it again. Ask them to name any card they see. Let's say 10 of hearts. I take it out, turn it around and put it on bottom of the deck and turn the whole deck around. Ask them for their hands. While asking them, just do a pinky count, 2 cards, and turn these 2 cards around and give them the Ace of Spades. And pinky count 1 card and put this card like this on the top of the deck and re-square it. When you're re-squaring it up, you're actually picking up 2 cards. And look at this card, say I have Ace of Spades here, and put it back and do magical gestures to see 2 cards have changed places. For the cleanup, you don't really have to clean up, but if you insist, turn the double around like this and use these 3 fingers to touch this behind this extra card. And turn your wrist inward, taking with this card. So like this, and grab their selection like this in your left hand and take their ace back and you're clean to go. This one is called butterfly cheeseburger, and it's basically a sandwich effect, but don't ask me why I named it butterfly cheeseburger. Let's get down to it. Just This is butterfly cheeseburger. For this, you'll need 2 queens, red queens or jokers, whatever, 2 cards. Put them on top and make them select the card. And pinky count 2 cards and turn this card face down on top of 2 queens and execute ego control and control it to under 2 queens like this. But at this time, don't flush this card. At this point, pinky count 3 cards and you're actually pushing out 3 cards with their selection under 2 queens. So push it out and peel off the top card, show them 2 queens, and their selection is under this queen. Square this up and give them these 2 queens. When you're giving it to them, square up this card, and when they look back, this card is gone, and show them the card is actually here. I think getting better at sleight of hand is constant thinking and problem solving. And the first step of getting better at anything is having high standard. When I was just starting out magic, I used to hang out in Chinese forums, and when I upload a video, they would flame me. I basically die because I wasn't perfect. In those Chinese forums, there are a lot of people, but they don't get to meet famous magicians or like even good magicians. They can't meet them. So all they see is from DVDs and online videos of masters performing. So when you upload a video on that forum, they will compare you to those masters. So if you're not nearly as good as those masters, you're shit. So I put my standard pretty high, and my first coin DVD, my first DVD ever is actually Sick by Ponta the Smith, and I thought all the coin magicians are like Ponta in the DVD. So I had a high expectation of myself, so I didn't complain and had a high standard when I was practicing. So I was able to get better faster than most magicians, I guess. So that is the first step of getting better at whatever you do. And second is start with imagination when you're practicing. For example, classic pass, it's basically a move that allows you to control a card from wherever to wherever. And in my imagination, it looks like you just close the spread and the card should be on the top. There shouldn't be any unnatural pauses or intense like muscle movements or anything like that. But there shouldn't be this thing going on. So I decided to start from that imagination of just closing the spread and squaring the deck and the card is on the top. And then I start to make adjustment to the move so I can get my reality to my imagination. For example, let me show you my thought process real quick. So here is how I improve sleight of hands and other effects. First of all, I always start with imagination. For example, cover pass. In my imagination, it should look like this. I dribble the cards, I take their card back, I dribble it, square up a little, and their card is second to the top or whatever. So in order to do that, I have to look at reality. In reality, cover pass usually look like this. dribble, put their card back, and you dribble or whatever, and you stay like this for like a solid 3 seconds, and you're done. So I have to eliminate that awkward silence in your hands. So what I did is to eliminate a few seconds of this squeezing out. If you know the original or preferred way of doing cover pass, people usually start from here and squeeze up this top card, this packet, and then do a cover pass. But in my cover pass, I decided to make it faster by a few seconds, so I just start by here. So I eliminated this squeezing out few seconds. And another problem is it looks like I'm holding the deck for absolutely no reason for a few seconds. So I wanted to add a reason for holding the deck with 2 hands. What I did was to square up the deck. So in my cover pass, I come over here, and my left hand is acting like it's squaring up the deck. So on Instagram, I get a lot of questions like, how do you practice? The way I practice is pretty simple. I usually have my phone in front of me or get a phone stand, just get the angle right, and I just film myself doing the move over and over again until I see. When you're practicing, if you only look at the mirror, sometimes you tend to miss a few spots. But videos, they just let you see everything. So I use my phone as a mirror while practicing, and when I get the perfect shot, I just pause and look through the video just to see if there's any problem. And if I see any problem, then I just go back and practice and fix it. And if it just satisfies me, I just move on and work on other things like timing and other stuff. Timing is actually really important when you're doing sleight of hands, because sometimes you're doing a move that looks like a natural move, but because you're not actually doing the natural move, you're doing a sleight of hand, your body movement gets a little weird. For example, when you're doing the cover pass, when you're actually just squaring up the deck, it's like this. But sometimes I do it sometimes too. When I do it, I tend to have this little pause before the move. So to avoid that, tense up your upper body so it moves in constant rhythm. It doesn't have weird pauses. The reason those pauses happen is because you're getting ready to execute a really hard sleight of hand. So you have to get that extra second to prepare for the hardcore move. So to prevent that, just as I said before, tense up your upper body so it can move in a constant rhythm. I learned this when I was learning coin magic, but surprisingly, I find a lot of card guys don't know about this. The basic premise is you could control your angle by just moving one foot. What I mean by that is some moves will flash when you do it this way, but when you're like this, you don't flash. So I see a lot of guys, when they're doing certain moves, they go from here and then suddenly turn their body like this and then do a move like this. And a better way to do it is just step back one step. So from here, just go like this. And now you're in the right angle to do it. Sometimes you have to get closer. For example, when you're doing cover pass. So you don't want to tilt your hand like this when you're doing a move. All you have to do is just step 1 feet closer to them and then do it from here. So you're at a better angle and still keeping it natural. Again, thank you for getting this project. I hope you got something useful in this project, and when you learn my pass or whatever I put out, don't just learn it, think why I did it this way. And in the process of thinking, you'll understand the reason whys, and you can apply those whys to your magic. So you can make your sleight of hands and everything get better overall. I actually have more projects coming out with Sansminds, so stay tuned. And I also put out a few other projects with Sansminds before, like Project Z and How to Do Coin Magic, so be sure to check them out, they're pretty good. So until next time, my name is Z, thank you for watching.